What's going on, everyone? So I'm really excited to see Jarred Vanderbilt and what he could bring to this team. I think personally, unless, a trade or something else changes, but as the team is currently constructed, I think Jarred Vanderbilt should be your starter. I don't think he will be. I think that JJ is going to go with Rui Hachimura, but I think between Luka, Austin Reeves, LeBron James, and DeAndre Ayton, you have more than enough offense. Not saying that you have to play Jarred Vanderbilt 40 minutes a night or anything like that. You could keep it as simple as like, hey, Vando starts, he plays 5 to 7 minutes in the first quarter, right? Maybe plays some spot minutes in the second, starts the third, right, for another 3-5 minutes, whatever, and then closes the fourth, and he gets 15 to 20 minutes, something in that ball range, right? Like, fine with that. But one of the things that we've talked about for years now, really, is Jarred Vanderbilt is like a serviceable. I'm not talking about elite. I'm not talking about anything great. Just a serviceable three-point shot away from being one of the premier 3-and-D guys in all of basketball. And so far, he just hasn't been able to do that. But he's going to have a full offseason, a full training camp, and a full preseason that he didn't get last season. Right? He wasn't able to really work on his game and hone his craft and do all those things like he is right now. And then on top of that, you add in, again, just the health factor of it. Jarred Vanderbilt never really quite looked like Vando last year. He had his moments. He had a couple moments, but I talked about it throughout the course of the season where I was like, you can tell like he's off a beat. He's missed a step. His timing isn't right? He's a little slower than he was, the previous. I mean, you're talking about one of the guys that is arguably the best perimeter player in all of basketball. Like, that's not an exaggeration. Go look up his advanced metrics. Go look up his defensive stats. Go look up pick your favorite player and look at their career against Jarred Vanderbilt. The guy is clamps when he's healthy and locked in. And he's still young. He just turned 26. So he's a guy that fits the timeline beautifully if he could just be serviceable from three-point range. Problem is, he's such a liability offensively that it's hard to keep him on the basketball court, right? However, Jarred Vanderbilt was posting videos, right? Workout videos, and he's been working on his three-point shot, and it looks good. It does. Now, it's one thing to be shooting in an open gym, right, when you don't have anything. Because a couple seasons ago, right, the year after we went and traded for him, he was working on his three-point shot, and it was looking really good. And then we got into the regular season, and it was not so good, right? Now, to be fair, he gets hurt and all that stuff, but, like, my point is that even before he got hurt, it was still a little shaky. It was a little rocky, right? You look at the seasons that he's been with the Lakers, right? He shot 30% on 1.3 attempts when he first came to the Lakers from Utah. Then the following year, he shot 29.6% on one attempt. And then last year, shot 28% on one attempt. Now, granted, that's a small sample size, but it's because he's not a good three-point shooter. You look at him for his career, right? He is a 28.8% three-point shooter. The best shooting season he has ever had for his career was with the Utah Jazz, in which he shot 33.3% from three-point range. And that was the year we acquired him, right? And then immediately drops with the Lakers to 30.3%. So, again, I like, will he ever be able to get to being elite? Probably not. But can he just get to, like I said, 35, 36%? 36% is roughly league average. I think it was like 36 and some change last year, right? So if he can be in that ballpark, right, now all of a sudden he becomes less of a liability. Now he actually becomes an asset. Because now, if teams do decide to leave him open, he's shooting at a high enough percentage to where it's going to punish these teams, right? Over the course of a series even, they're going to be punished, right? And then the defensive impact, the hustle plays, the dirty work, the rebounding, the offensive rebounding, all of these things start to culminate, start to accumulate for him. I mean, look at how good like a Jaden McDaniels is, right? Like, you look at a team like, Minnesota and how good Jaden McDaniels has been for a team like Minnesota. But he's not looked at as this like lights out three-point shooter. He's not known as a guy that can just, light it up. Right? Jaden McDaniels for his career is 34.8%. Last year for Minnesota on 3.7 attempts was 33%. He had one season in which he was 39.8%, which is what really boosted his, so basically 40% on 3.6 attempts, which boosted his percentage. But you look at his career, his rookie season was 36%. That's good. Like, could Jarred Vanderbilt be that? Following year was 31.7%, then that 40%, then that 33.9%, and then 33%. So the guy is really, if you remove that 140% season, it's basically 33%. That's not a lights out 3-point shooter, but he's at least enough to where he can get hot here and there to where he can punish you, right? That's what I want to see from Jarred Vanderbilt. Jarred Vanderbilt is a serviceable 3 away from solving most, if not all, of the Lakers' problems right now. Right, and then if you can bring in a Joshua Okogie or something like that and kind of get a guard version of Jarred Vanderbilt, all of a sudden Lakers might be one of those teams. It's like, hey, on timeout, right? And especially Joshua Okogie with Phoenix shot 38% from three-point range. If he can get back to that, playing alongside Luka and LeBron, right, and Jarred Vanderbilt could be 36%, I mean, imagine the possibilities. Right, like let's say we go and sign an Okogie and he does, let's say 36% too, just like Jarred Vanderbilt. Now they're not a liability, right? So now you can go Luka, LeBron James, DeAndre Ayton with Joshua Okogie and Jarred Vanderbilt. Not saying that that's going to be the starters, although I wouldn't hate it, but now you can run that 5-man unit and it actually works and makes sense. Right? Because it's like, okay, you got Joshua Okogie shooting 36, 37%, Jarred Vanderbilt shooting 36, 37%, but their defensive versatility, the rebounding, the hustle plays, the dirty work, right? Them being the scrappers for you, and then Luka being able to generate and create and have the lob threaten Ayton and the pick and pop action with Ayton, and then LeBron James doing LeBron stuff, and then now you can kick out to shooters and do all this. All of a sudden, it's like, wait a minute, the Lakers might be, like, we might have something here, right? And a lot of that is going to be, a lot of that rests on Jarred Vanderbilt because it's just like, that's the one, I mean, there's other issues with Jarred. Like, he can be a bit butterfingers, right? He needs to do a better job working on his hands and securing and, taking care of the basketball and catching the basketball. A lot of times he'll get a lob and just fumble the ball or not finish because the ball's like slipping out of his hand. Got to do a better job, sticking and holding on to the basketball, but again, if he's able to just knock down threes, that also opens up more of the offensive action for him. Because now teams have to, like, if you leave him wide open, he's going to score. But now if you press up, he's quick enough and athletic enough to get by you. Boom, easy bounce pass. And now the paint isn't clogged, so he's going to get easier looks and attempts, right? Or you can sawt him in on that weak side corner and be a potential lob threat. But if the defense collapses and kind of protects the paint, boom, easy kick out to that corner, and you can trust that he's going to knock it down with some level of efficiency, right? Like, that's, again, Jarred Vanderbilt being a serviceable 3-point shooter solves a lot for the Lakers, right? That, or you need somebody else to pick that. Like, can a dude Thero, can he be that guy, right? Because he's already looked, I mean, granted, we got to actually see him play, but again, he's looked at as a guy that should already be NBA ready defensively. He's got the size, the length, the versatility. If he can not, maybe he's the guy that's knocking it down at 30% or 36% clip, right? Again, Lakers need that defense desperately, but they also need defense to where they're not a liability. However, I will say, I don't think Jarred Vanderbilt is as big of a liability this year as he has been in years past for a couple reasons. One, Luka Dončić and just his ability to create and distract and collapse defenses, right? Where, when LeBron and Austin Reeves and D'Angelo Russell are kind of the primary playmakers, like outside of LeBron, D'Lo and Reeves don't have as much gravity as a Luka does. Austin Reeves has a little bit, but not to the level that Luka does. And the way in which Luka operates, right, is just such a high level that things are open. He's seeing everything. It's another level. That's why Luka is who Luka is, right? That alone has the potential to better Jarred Vanderbilt. I think a lot of the reason why Jarred Vanderbilt wasn't he was impactful, especially during the regular season when he played, but wasn't what we are accustomed to, I should phrase it, is because he was coming back from injury. If he can get back, so if he can get back to the Jarred Vanderbilt, forget the shooting. Although, again, I want the shooting, but just for a moment, right? If he can get back to being the Jarred Vanderbilt he was the year that we traded for him, that Jarred Vanderbilt, he will be much more impactful with the Luka Dončić, LeBron James, and Austin Reeves, along with DeAndre Ayton, than he was previously with D'Lo, Austin Reeves, LeBron, and Anthony Davis, right? Because DeAndre Ayton is constantly a threat on the inside, so teams are going to be worried about that. And Luka's, just again, attention that he draws. D'Lo, Austin Reeves, they're not Luka, right? DeAndre Ayton isn't Anthony Davis, but the gravity that a Luka Dončić creates is going to open things up in ways that we just didn't have open up before. Like just like if Anthony Davis was playing alongside Luka Dončić, you would see, like, remember Bubble AD? You'd probably see that, if not maybe better, because again, the gravity that Luka draws, right? So you're going to see probably the best version of Ayton possible, which in turn, if Austin Reeves can be the guy that we know he could be, and LeBron can be the guy we know he could be, and all that defense or all that offense kind of clicks in, now Jarred Vanderbilt, I don't think will be as big of a liability, because he's going to be able to operate, and if JJ's smart enough to kind of keep him moving, he's going to get a lot of just easy opportunities and looks, but also the defensive impact, so on and so forth, right? If they want to pack the paint and leave him in action, Luka Dončić isn't worried about that. That's the key, right? Like LeBron doesn't want the paint packed. Anthony Davis doesn't want the paint packed. Most players don't want the paint packed. You know who does? Luka Dončić. Why? Because he wants to create and suck everybody in, so that way he can have the outlet pass, the kick out, or that cutter that everyone is not paying attention to, and it's an easy bounce. Jarred Vanderbilt will be much better with Luka Dončić, especially if he can get back to being that guy. But we'll see. I want a shot. Give me a shot, Vando. And we're potentially looking pretty. But let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.